Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Less Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Less Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Less Up, craft your own footprints.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Amacha amalungi abatukereddeko ku mpewo zaffe za The Alternative Digitalk Farida bikoberege manya gange ngenda kubanga ate mbayisa mawulire agabaddewo ng'omugenyi wange tannaneegattaka. It is a Tuesday, ennaku z'omwezi ziri 5 tuli mu mwezi gwa December omwaka 2023. We are only counting days okulaba nga ate 2023 tummalako nga tuyingira 2024. What have you done in this year shouldn't affect what you plan to do in 2024, because it is a new year, it is a beginning. You should be planning okubanga you use new strategies and tactics okulabanga ate you achieve what you want to achieve. Others set unrealistic goals osobola okubanga ate munange oyina goal yo, you don't even have a plan how you're going to achieve it. I want you mwekube mu kifuba musobola okumanya nti okay, I want to be a successful woman. What should I be doing okulaba nti I am successful? Naye okubeera ne that broad picture of I want to be a successful woman without any strategies, without any plans of how you're going to become one, it is also wrong. Set realistic goals and have work plans on how you are going to achieve those goals. It is also important to set small goals and you can achieve them such that you can get the motivation to set others. It is very, very important to kulabanga ate when you set goals you achieve one or two. If you are setting and you're not achieving any, then it means you are setting unrealistic goals. So njagala okubakubiriza ennyo musobole okubanga mu setting goals ziri within your your capacity, those goals that you can achieve ojja kulaba nga ate zikuyambako okufuna ka motivation akakusindiikiriza ogenda mu maaso. 2023 is almost done. So the things that didn't go well in this year shouldn't affect you ngoyingira 2024. What happened in 2023 should remain here. Netuyingira 2024 as new people with new plans, with new goals. You can, by the way, you can carry on your goal of 2023 to 2024, but make sure you have different plans for it. If you use the same plans you're using in 2023, you are going to get the same results, and I don't think you want the results unless your results were a success. But if it was a failure, then you need to re-strategize. It is very, very important. Okulabanga wekola muka self check up n'olabanga ate munnange ebintu bikutambulira bulungi nnyo. Olunaku lwa leero ngenda kubanga ntoola mu studios ne Secretary General wa Congolese Refugees in Uganda abali living in the urban areas. Tugenda kubanga twogera nsonga z'aba refugees, not particularly aba Congo, but refugees all over, the challenges they are facing, what it means to live in a foreign country. Byonna tugenda kubanga ate tubyogerako wano. Njagala kukubiriza kutegeza we live on Facebook, osobola ogendayo no to liking and not following. You engage in the discussion with us ngokozesa comment section, you put in your suggestion, your ideas and your questions. Ngenda kubanga ate mbisoma in our second hour of the show. Munange Friday yagwa the first, it was the first day of December, is always World AIDS Day. Kakati no mukulembeze yasinzireyo nategeza natogamba nti bannange nze nateekawo mu 1996 nateekawo free education. Ensonga ya free education is I want people basobola okubanga ba accessing education, ba accessing information, sobola okubanga ate tukabinga education, tukabinga the spread of HIV AIDS. Ono yategezezaako n'agamba nti lwakuba abantu tebawuliriza omulamwa gogamba nti abantu ba accessing education freely nga tebalina ke basasulayo. Omwana okeera bukezi n'ogenda ku ssomero, oba oli mu kyambalo ki, oba oli mu bijo, oba uniform gwe genda osome, for as long as you are getting the education. Ono yategezeza nti abaana be banaakuumirwa mu masomero bajja sobola okufuna information ebamala, sobola okubanga bayiga butya bwe basobola okubanga beekuuma obutafuna kawuka kano. Yadde nga statistics ziraga nti akawuka kano munnange kali mu baana abato myaka 15, 16 n'emyaka 25. Ensonga abamu bagamba nti early marriages mulimu ensonga za lack of education, abantu tebalina information ku butya omuntu bw'ayinza okwekuumamu HIV AIDS okulaba nga tamukwata, n'oyo akafunye tasomeseddwa kumanya butya bw'oyinza okwekuuma ng'ate olina akawuka kano n'otakasiiga mulala. So nno omukulembeze w'eggwanga President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni yavuddeyo ku olwo olunaku n'agamba nti abantu mbaleke, naddala abaana abato ba accessing education bajja kuyambako okulaba nga batambuza enjiri eno mu byalo, kubanga bw'obeera ng'olina ky'omanyi osobola okisharinga ne munno ne tusobola ate okubanga tulwanyisiza wamu akawuka akaleeta mukenenya. Side Mbarara district bagirwakinza okubeera second kubanga Kalangala yo yakwata ekifo ekisooka tevangawo mukuba mu districts waneno mu Uganda ezikyasinza okubeera ne HIV prevalences eziri waggulu nnyo. So bannange tujja kubakubiriza nnyo buli muntu weekume naddala abaana abato, guard yourself from that disease. Si kirungi nnyo kubanga ojja kubanga okafunye ku myaka emito yadde nga n'emikadde si mirungi, naye olw'ensonga nti kali mu baana bato mwe kasinze okubanga katambulira, tukubiriza nnyo abaana bato munoonye nnyo information about HIV AIDS musobola okubanga ate mwekuumira ddala. Olunaku lw'eggulo US yavuddeyo imposing a new travel ban to government officials from Uganda. Alono bagambye serving and non-serving nga wakolako mu government naawe ali mu government nga oli oba oyamba kiyambako okulaba nga ate human rights violations zigenda mu Uganda waneeno banono babateeseko travel ban ate no travel ban bategeezeza ekwatira ddala ne ku ba relatives bammwe katugeze nga nani gwe tugenda okugerezaako saagala kumenya manya naye gwe olinayo government official gw'omanyi nga munnange akutta akati okulaba nga ate human rights violations zinazikumamu omuliro ye ne family ye tebakkirizibwa kuweebwa visa ebatwala mu US. Onono nga US Secretary Anthony Blinken yavuddeyo n'asoma ekiwandiiko kino era n'ategeezezza nti kitandikirawo okukola kuba government officials abawane e Uganda ndowooza kitwaliramu president ne kitwaliramu abantu abakulukulu mu government awo kijja kubatwaliramu ddala yadde ng'omukulu president w'eggwanga ebyo nno tebimutiisizaako yadde yagamba is always happy being in Uganda so those travel bans don't affect him anyway. Ngenda kubanga ate ntambula kwa police olunaku lw'eggulo yavuddeyo netegeeza abagoba b'ebidduka nga togenda mu nnaku enkulu n'agamba emmotoka zammwe enkadde ezo simanya zitalina service temuyina misolo zive ku makubo oba muzitwale bazikole otherwise bagenda kubanga babakwata babawe bbaana oba okubanga babatwala mu mbuga z'amateeka. So no munnange gwe atambulira omugoba w'ekidduka ekikakatako okulaba nga ekidduka kyo kiri mu mbeera nnungi nnyo ddala era okulaba nga ate emisolo ogifunye bulungi nnyo kubanga ate totiikana kabindo okujjuliriza abantu kubanga ennaku z'ebikujjuko ze tuyingira abantu bafa nnyo obubenje. So tugenda kubakubiriza nnyo mmwe abatuula mu mamotoka ago. You have a driver and is drive texting abavuga nga texting ali ku WhatsApp please mweyogereko mu complaining because obulamu bwaba akutte mu ngalo bweba bwammwe. You have a family, you have people who are feeding on you. So bwolaba nga omuntu omu akutte obulamu bwo mu ngeri etategeereka complain tekikukolako. No one is going to kubanga akukuba oba akukola ekintu kyonna because you have complained about something that you don't feel comfortable with. So ne bagamba ofuluma n'ofuna emmotoka endala okusinga bw'onoosirika ne mufuna akabenje n'ofiirwa obulamu oba obulamu n'obusigaza naye n'ogenda n'okugulu kumu oba omukono gumu nenge emmotoka wagiyingidde oli mu mulamu bulungi nnyo. So no poliisi yavuddeyo netutegeeza nti bannaye abagoba b'ebidduka emmotoka zammwe muzitwale bazikole service muzitwale zibeere nnungi nnyo emipiira kwegiri oyina service oyina omusolo wagusasula third party kweriso tusobole okuba nga tutambula bulungi nnyo tukendeeze obubenje obubeera mu ggwanga mu biseera bya Christmas kubanga betuyingira abantu bangi nnyo baba traveling up country ejjamu ajja kuba muyitirivu nnyo namwe abaagala okugenda mu byalo nga temulina nnyo bye mukola. It is important you go now kubanga ennaku ze tugendamu transport agenda kudabolinga ng'agendera ejjinja ku ebiri bagenda kusabawo ekyena ng'ate toyina kyakukola because you want to go there nga munnange nno oba nga tokyayina byakukola nnyo. It is very important you travel early to the villages musobole okubanga ate musevinga ka transport yako kemwandisobodde okemwandi ate musasula ku 22nd or 20th nga transport agendera ddala waggulu. Ate nno munnange babagoba b'ebidduka bajja kwekwasa mbw amafuta gaalinnye babongeze transport fares ng'ate temuyina wakubanga ate mu complaining. Nga amaliriza Poliisi ya Uganda yavuddeyo oba neteekawo 40 million eri oyo yenna asobola okuzuula omuntu yenna owa ADF bw'obanga osobola okumufuna ng'omulabyeko munnange tegeeza poliisi bukadde 40 bukulinze. Munnange kino kyaddiridde okubanga ate aba ADF bali mu kweriisa nkuuli ennaku zino. So nno abapoliisi bavuddeyo ne bategeeza nti waliwo akasiimo ka million 40 if you come out no identifying or ADF. These people live within us. So munnange oba osobola okuba identifying you find someone mu community yo gw'otategeera abadde nga tabeeramu yeeyisayisa you complain to the authorities bw'anaaba mutuufu ajja kwewozaako where is the problem agenda mu bakulu okugamba nze siri mu bannaye siri muntu mukyamu navudde wano nkola mulimu bwe guti. Bw'olabanga omuntu mu community yo gw'otategeera genda mu authorities o complaining agambe wanne wali ewange waliwo omusajja yazzeewo naye simutegeera mbeera ze. So that they come and interrogate him sobola okuba nga ate tulivinga mu communities eziri peaceful nga ate tuyina ne security emala. Ngenda kuba nga mpumulamuko katono nnyo bwe tukomawo. I will be giving you the quote of the day ate n'omugenyi wange agenda kuba nga ate aneegaseke. Very good morning.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now recorder. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be normal.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk. The Alternative Digitalk. real issues, real talk.
It is 27 minutes past 8 a.m. I have been joined with Mr. Wisdom Karungu. He's the SG, Congolese Urban Refugees here in Uganda. We'll be talking the challenges they're facing, how they came to live in Uganda, what forced them to leave their countries, and then they found themselves in Uganda. So I want you to use our comment section, put in your questions, your ideas, your suggestions. We are going to be talking about not only Congolese, but all refugees. What problems are they facing? What challenges? And what do you think should be done? Okulabanga, these people bavunoka challenges. So this discussion will be 90% English because the person I have in studios doesn't understand Uganda. Do you, Mr. Wisdom, do you understand Uganda at all?
Yes, I can speak some Luganda.
Do you speak some Luganda?
Yeah, I've been here for quite a long time. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Wisdom. I welcome you to the show. This is the Mighty Drive. Please say hello to our viewers.
Good morning, Miss Farida. It's a pleasure for me to be hosted here.
So since you said you understand some Luganda, we're going to be doing some Kaganda, very little, and then we add some English for the benefit of my audience who understand Luganda completely.
Yeah, sure. I think I can be dropping in some Luganda.
Oh, how long have you been here?
I've been in Uganda for 15 years now.
15
and the 15
years.
years I've been in Kampala.
That is like 2008.
Yeah, 2008. I fled from DR Congo. Yeah, thank you, Uganda. It's a very generous country, and its people, the hospitality has not really been bad.
Particularly, why did you choose Uganda? Of all countries, someone would say you would have chosen maybe Kenya or Mauritius or any other country. Why did you choose Uganda?
You know, I've made a lot of research in regards to refugees across the globe, and the researchers have really approved that Uganda has the best policies regarding refugees. And despite of the policies, Ugandan people are generous, and the hospitality is not really bad. I will not talk about Kenya, Rwanda, or Burundi, but I think that Ugandan people are generous. So
Ugandans are we are getting our flowers this early morning.
Yeah, sure. And I really applaud the generosity. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Did you do this research before you came from Congo, or you have engaged in research when you are here in Uganda?
Yeah, I engaged in research when I am already a refugee here in Uganda, because when I left the country, I was quite a very young boy. I think I was around 16 or 17 years old.
16 years?
Now I'm a full grown-up man, an old man, 32 years old now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What forced you to leave Congo at that early age?
You know, the Democratic Republic of the Congo has multiple conflicts which arose since 1994 during the genocide in Rwanda. DRC hosted more than 2 million refugees from Rwanda, and that was the beginning of the conflict. There is a whole lot to explain and narrate, and it is political related, and yet I'm not really that much happy to make a narrative about politics.
That is okay.
Yeah.
That is okay if you don't want to go political. We can do the social challenges that really forced you to leave your country. Did you come with your parents? You came alone at that early age?
When I fled the country, I fled and myself. because we were fleeing due to the war that was engaging the government with the M23 rebellion. Yeah, that's why I fled the country, and I got separated with my parents and siblings, and yeah, I managed to flee alone.
And life began.
Life began.
How do you start life here in Uganda? Where do you begin from?
It is quite challenging, life as a refugee. It's really daring. I personally, I am managing because I have tried to socialize with the nationals. I have worked with them. I have made friends with the nationals, and I have learned a little bit of the language. But other refugees are really grappling with the situation due to language barrier, due to maybe lack of the ability to socialize with the nationals. Yeah, that is it.
So you came here in Uganda when you had finished your education. Did you acquire your education from here?
Yes, from here some, and back in the country some.
Like in high school or university?
I've attended some formal trainings and university studies here.
How did you find the process of joining the education institutions here in Uganda? Is it so easy? Is it so difficult? The languages and all that?
No, it is not easy. It is really daring for refugees because, first of all, the academic papers are in different languages, and they cannot be understood. So the challenge starts when you have, first of all, to submit these papers to an institution, maybe UNEB, maybe Makerere, maybe somewhere else for translation. Yes, for them to be translated and equited, and then yeah, you have to apply for admission.
Do we use the same curriculum as in Congo, or we have a different curriculum?
No, we have a different curriculum. You know, Congo is a French-speaking country. Yeah, so we are using the French and Belgian curriculum. In Uganda, we are using the English curriculum.
Yes.
Totally different.
How did you cope up with it?
I had, first of all, to adopt myself to seek learning the language, most especially
first learn English.
Yes. No, the local language.
The
I
local
started
language,
with
the
Luganda. Yeah, na Ugambie. So Luganda katonton. Yeah. So that's where I started.
Tujja kwogera Oluganda kasita walusomye. You studied Luganda bulungi.
Formally, no.
Formally,
yeah.
So when someone is speaking Luganda, you can pick like 70% of the discussion.
Not picking. I can understand Luganda. Don't be surprised when I call myself from Sajawakabaka.
Okay. So we are going to enjoy this discussion since you know some Luganda. Which challenges have you faced living in Uganda?
I personally have faced personal challenges.
You will have to tell us the personal challenges and then the community that you live, the challenges that face.
I think it will be better that I tell you about the community challenges because I am not here as an individual.
Yes.
I am here as a community man, as a community representative, and not only my community, actually refugees at large. You know, like I had mentioned earlier on, I've engaged in a lot of research with the Oxford University, Stockholm University, Harvard University. I've engaged in their researches, and the research showed that a number of refugees in Uganda is peaking to 1,600,000.
Yeah, true.
So there are very many challenges shared by different refugee communities in common, not only to the Congolese community, but to the Rwandan, Burundian, South Sudanese, Somalis, Eritrean, Yemenis, and etc. First of all, the major challenge is the language of barrier. The language barrier is a great challenge because when someone cannot speak the language, it hinders them to access services,
yes.
it hinders them to engage in labor market, it hinders them even to move freely, because when you want to board a ride and
yeah, you will have to engage in like a small discussion.
You do not speak the language, yeah, it is really daring. The second one is the ignorance of the land laws.
Tebamanyi mateeka gabafuga.
Tebamanyi mateeka gabafuga mu Uganda. And thirdly, it is a violation of refugee rights. So these people are facing or experiencing a violation of their rights, because apart from refugees ignoring their rights, they are also nationals and government officials who are also ignorant when it comes to refugee rights. Yeah, because according to the Ugandan Government Act of 2006 and the 2010 regulations, it shows that refugees share similar rights with nationals, apart when it comes to political engagement. For instance, refugees cannot vote, refugees cannot race for a political position.
Tebalonda, tebesimbawo.
Tebasobola kulonda, tebasobola kwesimbawo. Like ebyobufuzi ebya Uganda.
They cannot engage in any political activity.
Kubiyingiramu.
So how have you handled these challenges?
Well, these challenges are always handled through advocacy channels. Some of us have been trained, have learned about our rights, and when you learn about your right, when you understand how it goes and how it works,
how you should be treated.
Yes, you automatically become an advocate.
Exactly.
First of all, an advocate of yourself, and an advocate of your community, and an advocate of other communities that share similar challenges. Yeah. So we advocate.
Okay, you talked about trainings. Who are giving you these trainings? Which organizations?
Well, we have a diversity of refugee-led organizations, like in terms of local NGO, community-based organization. We also have stakeholders or partners in terms of international organizations. Many of these organizations have been supportive in terms of training refugees about their rights, training them about the Ugandan laws, how can they behave, what are their do's and don'ts. Yes, so that's it.
Are these trainings free of charge? The people just come and attend for free?
Yeah, surely, many of them.
They don't charge?
No.
Anything at all?
No.
Has there been any intention to teach your community the local languages within the communities that they live in?
Actually, to be honest, I think the Congolese community has been the first refugee community to socialize with nationals, because when it comes to employment, many of us are not formally employed, but we employ ourselves by getting something small. I think you've seen many of our mothers on the street hawking jewelries, many of our brothers hawking jewelries. So they teach themselves the local language, which is Luganda. They learn from their neighbors. They learn from people who learned before them. Yeah, so that is it.
There are people who sent me questions when I put your post on the social media, and they claim, I want to get an affirmation from you, that a lot of Congolese are in prisons, in police cells. What is the reason behind this? Why are they mostly in those cells?
Yeah, I think you are very right, and their curiosity was hitting some reality. It is true. Many of our people are incarcerated. Yes, some of them may have broke the land laws, but some of them are also arbitrarily arrested. Because we are the refugees, we also encounter arbitrary arrest. Maybe you are conflicting with your brother, your friend, your neighbor. They be like, oh, Afande, can you arrest this person for me? Let me show him. So we have also encountered arbitrary arrest. Yeah, some of them are incarcerated because they have broke the land laws. And for that, we do not have anything against it, because we always call upon our members to comply with the land laws. Okay. Yeah, because if we fled from our country and this country has been generous to welcome us, the first thing, the first homework, let me call it a homework, we should have and observe is to comply with the national laws. That is the first thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the first thing kubanga everyone you're getting outside your home, like
kugondera amateeka. Yes, kugondera amateeka.
Do you have lawyers for these people? Do you have lawyers within you that could go and represent these people that are incarcerated?
Honestly, in the refugee community, many of us are educated people. For instance, our chairperson is a legal advocate. Wow. He is a lawyer. And unless that he cannot practice his law advocacy in courts of laws, but locally, like engaging with police and wherever, he can always advocate. And as I told you, when we learned about the national laws and our rights, we automatically became advocates of ourselves and advocate of our dear ones. But also, there are those organizations, international organizations, refugee-led, that have paralegals and also advocates. Yeah, when you go to them as a refugee, you have an issue.
Yeah, they give you an advocate.
They give you an advocate to represent you, and it's made free of charge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that is really great. When we talk about challenges, there are challenges within your community, and then there are challenges outside your community. What we have been discussing are challenges outside your community. We haven't talked about the challenges within you. Those ones, but it is within you, it is not with the nationals or the government. So what are those challenges?
The challenges between us as a community, I can cite the first of them is lack of access to services, like medical services, like legal-related services. Because I've seen community members, someone has been assaulted, someone has been thugs have broke into their door, stole their property. Someone's child has been raped, sexually abused, and when these people rush to police to report, some of police officers be like, Bakongo namwe, twabakoa namwe, you go.
What is creating that attitude?
I am also wondering, because some of them even deny us services, thinking we want to report this in order to acquire papers to support our resettlement application. Resettlement application. Some of refugees are willing and seeking to be resettled abroad. So some of the policemen, I won't say all of them, but some of them, because you have encountered it, they will deny you a service because they think if they give you that police reference or record the claim you've reported, maybe it might help you. It might help you. So
in processing your
yeah,
resettlement
yeah.
in another country.
And also others charge money. You are reporting a case, you have been assaulted, or this has happened to you. They be like, soko kwate monsao. Yogero Uganda.
Chintu kidogo.
Soko lete chintu kidogo. So you understand that it is quite tricky. Also, when it comes to medical services, our people have not accessed medical services like properly. And the reasons, I think the first is a challenge of language barrier. And secondly, there is a perception in those people who attend to us that maybe this is a refugee, he is a stranger, he's maybe different, I'm not supposed to attend to this person. There is that segregative way that cause refugees, especially of my community, lack access to services. And maybe they have come to a health facility where there is no medicine. I think we have seen all those.
So in other words, like the approach these people use when they identify you a refugee is totally different when it comes to a national.
Sure, it is totally different. Maybe something I forgot to talk about. There is a challenge also of our people being incarcerated by KCCA.
When they find them hawking jewelry.
Yes, when they find them hawking jewelries on the street, KCCA arrest them. It is an offense because the government has not allowed hawkers.
Yes.
But I will not contract the government. But from my perception, I think it could be seen or treated as a minor offense. Because when you arrest this refugee hawking on a street and take this refugee directly to Luzira, they are those murderers who have murdered people, who have sexually defiled young children, those people who have committed very, very big offenses. So someone who has been looking for milk for the children, you arrest them and take them to Luzira,
and they engage with those criminals.
Where you are detaining criminals, murderers, rebels. It is quite tricky and complex, and I think the government should look into that and try to amend it.
Okay, how do you think the government should handle those people that are hawking on the streets? They shouldn't be arrested. They should be arrested and kept at police stations. How should they be handled?
You know, there are some offenses, like those minor offenses, that do not deserve detention or imprisonment. Like this KCCA, they even grab those ladies and boys on the street properties. Sometimes they take them to their offices.
Yes.
Sometimes they charge them 500,000
if you want to get back your property.
To acquire back your property.
Yes.
And I think the government should look into it and try to put an argument of them being somewhere or in some areas, or maybe to generate a tax for them. Tell them if you want to hawk, you are maybe threatening the city, and to clean it, you have to be paying this tax to facilitate the KCCA people that clean the city. They generate at least a tax. Let them pay a tax, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe annually, to be facilitating the people that clean this city. I think that could be quite
that could be work. You see, that could work. You see, the things we are discussing don't only affect the refugees, but even the nationals, the abatembe, abakukubo. So bagamba muna sasulanga yo mutwalo per month. You can pay the 10K and then go and kuyiya milk for the kids instead of you getting arrested and then they throw you to Luzira for 3 months. You see that case is a court. Tulirawo ne bakwata ku 12 ez'olweggulo bakwatwala mu kooti ne bakuvuga paka e Luzira. So these problems or these challenges we are discussing here, some of them cut through to the nationals, like the Kintu Kidogo, even the nationals are complaining about it. So it is important you interest yourself in this discussion because it may benefit you somehow. We talked about the lack of access to medical services. Are there specific hospitals or clinics that are for refugees?
Honestly, no. They are not specific or particular clinics for refugees. We are all going to Mulago, Chirudu, Kisenyi, where nationals are also going. And I think each and everyone within the country knows the condition. We will not talk about them, but everyone knows the condition in Mulago, Kisenyi, and Chirudu. I will use an example of malnutrition.
Yes.
When you are a guest into a house and you find that the children in that house are suffering of malnutrition,
yes,
what will happen to you as a guest? It will be starvation.
Exactly. So do you have any interest in having people, these donors that support you, get for you hospitals that specifically are for refugees, maybe to block the language barrier thing? You can have workers who are speaking the language that your community understands, so it is better for people to ably explain what they are suffering from and everything.
No, that has not happened. There is a challenge to these donors. I don't know if they have heard or observed it. The first challenge is that these donors are not reaching or seeking to operate or to work hand in hand with refugee communities. The donors make one mistake. They take a lot of funds and give it to these local NGOs and international NGOs. So the NGOs will implement
what
among refugees and what they think and what they have researched about. And yet, remember, research is not based on real facts.
Yeah, true.
Some researches are made hypothetically, and some researches are made by observing. And when you implement basing on a research and basing on what you think, you make a mistake. Yeah. You cannot implement among refugees in refugee communities on their behalf, because who knows the issues of my house if not me and my wife and my children? So refugees and refugee communities know their challenges. They know their needs. They know themselves better. There is no one who can know refugees more than they know themselves. So you find out that these local NGOs and others, when they receive those funds, they first rush on initiating a beautiful and expensive salary for themselves. They buy fancy cars, they build fancy houses, they send their children into fancy schools, and then implement the list among refugees.
They use 30% of the funds for implementation, 70% for
I think even less than 30%.
Less than 30%.
Yes, because I have been in this refugee world for 15 years. I've been seeing what is happening, and I've been seeing what is being done. So I think donors make a very big mistake by taking all the funds to those NGOs. It could be better to approach refugee communities and allocate some funds in refugee communities so that they can implement, because these community members always and every day come to their community. Yes. We listen to their issues and their needs every day. We know where they stay. We know what they eat maybe every day. So it is a great mistake. Among refugees, there is no particular health facility. Only that some of the refugees that have gotten possibility have built clinics, like private clinics, private hospitals.
Yes.
And when you go there as a refugee, of course, you
They
have
will
to
charge
pay.
you.
Yeah, because this is a private clinic.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
So
is
the
a money-making
situation,
venture.
the situation is really overwhelming.
So when it comes to donors, you suggest donors should engage with you directly minus the middleman of the NGO world.
Absolutely right. I call upon all donors to consider engaging directly refugee communities, refugee leaders. If they will continue supporting or giving the funds to those NGOs, that is fine, but it could be better that they be allocating some funds directly to the refugee communities, because they know their issue. How will you come and handle the issue of my house when you do not live there?
No,
you do not stay there.
I can ably explain the problems of my house than any other person.
Of course. So it is really better. A recommendation is hereby made to donors to consider engaging directly refugee communities.
Okay, now that is a discredit to the NGO world. You are not doing the refugee communities a good job. So we implore you to use the funds for the purposes that are given. So I will be going in for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the challenges they face. Their kids are attaining education here. They have leadership. How do they erect their leaders? And a lot more. A very good morning. We are going in for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Less Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check out at Less Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Less Up, craft your own footprints.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes, it can. Although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. I still have Mr. Wisdom Karungu. We are talking challenges of refugees here in Uganda particularly. So we are not only discussing the Congolese refugees, but all refugees in Uganda, the challenge they are facing and how they can overcome those challenges. He has mentioned a pertinent issue about the NGO world, how they are not implementing exactly what these people really need. So we implore you, the NGOs, to do a needs assessment. Go on the ground and find out what these people need, and then you can ably implement in their favor. So as we continue with the show, I will be going through your comment section and find out if you have any questions, and I will be raising them to Mr. Wisdom. He will be giving you answers in the next 30 or 20 minutes. So you talked about the welfare when you were in our short break. So I really want to know, how do you survive in a foreign country? How do you get the food? Do you have some allowances from your countries where you come from? How do you survive here?
It is again tricky, like I had told you. First of all, in a foreign country, particularly in Uganda, for us refugees, yes, the labor market is very, very competitive.
Exactly.
It is competitive and cannot be won by refugees because of the issue of language barrier, the issue of being seen different, and the issue of their academic papers. And that is why you see very many of our mothers, our brothers and sisters, they are hawking on the street, hawking jewelries, selling jewelries in order to gain a bread for
their families, themselves and the families.
For their families. Like a support from our country of origin, no. And it has never happened because, yeah, there is no refugee that is in touch with their country of origin. And like a support to sustain us in Uganda as refugees, I will say no. And why? Uganda has two settings of refugee hosting. They have the rural
and the urban.
So the policies say that when you decide to come and live in the urban, you have to be self-reliant. In everything from 0 to 10, you have
the
to...
The government will not support you.
Never. The only thing the government supports us with is documentation from the office of the Prime Minister. They are only giving us a document, and apart from the document, you have to know yourself.
So the moment you take a decision to say, I am going to live in the urban refugee camp, you are on your own.
When you leave the camp and come in the urban, you are on your own at 100%. Yeah, there is no mandate to say that the government will support me with this. It has not happened.
So it is about you to go and find work and find money for your rent and your food and your kids' education and maybe for yourself.
Absolutely right. You have to go and work, feed yourself, pay your rent, cover your medication, your bills at home, everything on your own.
I think that answers my next question. Someone had asked if the camps here in Kampala.
No, they are not camps in Kampala. When we talk about camps, we talk about the habitation in rural areas. And the refugees in Kampala, we call them urban refugees. That is why
They
I
are
say...
not in camps.
No, they are not in camps. And they cannot access camps unless they are given a recommendation letter
To go back.
from OPM to visit the camps or to be relocated to the camp. Yeah.
So when you want to leave the camp, you first write to ask
Absolutely.
for permission to leave the
Absolutely.
camp.
Absolutely right.
And if you want to come, when you come and test the life in Kampala and it becomes hard and you want to go back, you have to write again.
You have to seek a recommendation letter from the office of the Prime Minister recommending you to relocate back in the settlement or the camp, and then that letter will be received by the camp commandant, who will again give you a space where you can set your tent to live therein and your family.
So this letter is written through, who helps you to take your letter to the office of the Prime Minister?
As a refugee, you cannot write a recommendation letter for yourself. The office of the Prime Minister has a department of refugees. So we do not go to Madame Nabanja by herself, no. There is a department of refugees which is based in Sir Apolkagwa Road along Old Kampala. So it is open. It is open
to anyone. There is nothing like, I am a Congolese, I have to go through Mr. Wisdom and then he takes it for me.
No.
So you can go there directly.
You can go there directly, or you can be recommended by your community leadership. The letter will be addressed to the in charge at OPM, and you carry it along with you. When you reach at the OPM, they will read the recommendation letter from the community, or you will express yourself. If you do not speak the language, they got interpreters there. When
they can help you.
Yeah, when they hear about your issues, they will write a recommendation letter to the camp commandant. So that letter will be sent by OPM. It won't be taken by you. OPM will send it to the camp of preference. Like in Uganda, we have 13 camps, yes.
So you choose where you think you can live.
Yeah, you can choose, because there is that freedom of movement, and they permit you to choose your area of preference to stay. So when OPM sends this letter, that is when they can give you the OPM car with the driver to drive you back to the settlement.
Are there chances of them saying no?
No, it is not there.
So when you write, they
Yeah, when life is very hard for you in Uganda, in Kampala, yeah, when you suggest also to OPM that please, things are very hard for me, take me back to the camp where I will not pay rent and whatsoever, they will definitely take you.
Wow,
Yeah.
so because in the camps, food is secure. There is food, there is water, there is free space for sleeping. So I understand that a lot of people even you have spent a lot of years here in Uganda. So that means you have settled here, you have a family, you have your kids. So how are your kids acquiring education? Are there schools that are specifically for you people that you are taking your kids to those particular schools? Maybe for you to continue with your French syllabus in Congo, or you are taking your kids to these national schools?
Honestly, since I have been in Uganda, I have not seen any school built by these local NGOs or international NGOs, like saying this one will be specifically for refugee children. It's not there. So we are also going through the same challenges with nationals. We also take them either to private schools, either to government schools. And there is nothing as for free either to private or to government. I think you know the conditions. It is nowadays that I have started seeing some Congolese building schools
for
but
themselves.
also in a private aspect. Yeah, I think I have seen 3 schools belonging to Congolese, and they are using the Congolese curriculum. Yeah, but it is not also free of charge. It's
So
just a
once
private.
You have to pay for it.
Of course, you have to
It can't
pay.
be a free service.
Yeah, it's not a free service, and I think one of them do charge $50 per month as a school fees. Yeah.
$50 per month.
Yeah, per month as a school
You pay
fees.
school fees per month.
Yeah, in some of these Congolese schools, I have seen 3 of them.
$50.
$50. That is amounting
that is way too
185. Yeah.
That is now like times 4 months.
Yeah, yeah, it becomes a lot of money. So the situation is not really easy for refugees. Yet remember, we do not have formal employment, and we are just like the Baganda say, tweyiya.
Muri mu kweyiya here and there.
Tuli mu kweyiya, abamu kufe batambuza batembeya bu earrings, abalala kufe ba porters, construction site, loading and offloading those trucks. Abalala kufe, we have tried to study. We look for employment in some NGOs, which is also not easy to find. Yeah, so that's how life is.
Are there instances where you people have studied and finished using the Ugandan curriculum? Like someone has gone into the national schools and they have gone through up to university?
Yes, we have very many of them.
And they are still finding challenges in finding jobs?
Yes, because the labor market, as I had said, it's very, very competitive. I will talk about one international NGO, which I will not mention the name. They do not employ refugees formally. They employ them through implementing partners. And they have specific positions to be given to refugees. Other positions are reserved for nationals, expatriates, and etc. Like in these refugee-led organizations also, the Refugee Act of 2006 and the regulations of 2010 recommend, it is a compulsory that when you are implementing services, you as foreigners or refugees, you have to include 30% of the nationals. So they are in these refugee-led organizations. If you have a staff of 10 people, it is mandatory. 3 must be Ugandans. Yes, must be nationals. So I think we are contributing a lot.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You are doing a great job. Talking about the labor market and how competitive it is, how are you planning to overcome this problem? Because yes, your kids are studying, they will finish school like any other person. But how are you planning for them, knowing very well the labor market is not favoring them?
We are planning, and we can still plan, but there will never be any change unless if the government does amendment in the policies, like in the Refugee Act, the regulations, and amend these policies. Because we are not hindered to access jobs or to acquire foster changes because we are refugees. No. We are being in this condition, we are hindered because the policies are written in this way. So the only way of making changes is to advocate for changes, amendments in the policies. Yeah, only policy advocacy can change things.
Can change the situation around refugees.
Yes, can change the situation. Because when you say a refugee cannot be employed in this sector, and there is no any reason, just because they are refugees. But how about if they have the qualification How about if they have studied?
Yes.
How about if they have the competencies of working in this particular sector? So the amendments of policies can change the current grappling situation.
Okay, I will be going through my comment section to make sure the time is on our side. Someone is asking, are there children born in Uganda treated or face the same discrimination as the parents who come as refugees?
I will say yes, because a child when born in Uganda, they are given a birth certificate from NIRA. But remember, the birth certificate does not become a national ID to them. They are added on the refugee file of the parents, and they are all seen and treated as refugees. So it is a yes.
So I thought that those ones are Ugandans because, yeah, Ugandans by birth.
Yeah, maybe Ugandans by birth, but when it comes to their identification,
They are still refugees.
yeah, they are still refugees.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. We are still talking about the challenges facing refugees here in Uganda, particularly the urban setting. We didn't cross to the camps because he understands the urban setting better, and he's a leader in the urban community of refugees. So the reason why we are concentrating on the urban setting of refugees, the challenges, and how you think or how he thinks they can overcome these challenges. I understand you have leadership positions in your communities. How do you organize these elections? How do people get to elect you? How do you campaign? Take us through the whole process.
Thank you very much for the question. It is very, very sensitive and important. We acquire our leadership in refugee communities through elections. We organize transparent and independent elections. First of all, we have what is called the General Assembly, which we consider as the supreme organ of the community and the whole structure. So the first thing we do is to summon or call for a General Assembly, and from the General Assembly we discuss about the current leadership. From the General Assembly, we appoint an independent electoral commission. From the Assembly, we discuss about the electoral calendar, the voting venue, etc. And how is this done? It has not been supported by the government. It is never supported by OPM. It is never supported by UNHCR, and it is never supported by any NGO in whatsoever aspect.
So it's supported by you?
By us and ourselves. So how do we do it? The Independent Electoral Commission will set a piece of requirements for a candidate to be eligible to contest for the chairmanship of the community. And one of those requirements is to pay a fee. You have to pay a fee. For instance, the recent elections we had, an aspirant candidate had to pay 500,000 Uganda shillings.
To stand for chairmanship.
Yes, to contest for chairmanship. So these funds that are being paid by the aspirant candidates, they are paid to the Independent Electoral Commission to facilitate the Independent Electoral Commission to hire a venue, to hire security personnel, to print out ballot papers and other electoral materials. So independently, every refugee of the particular nationality voting, they will come and they vote for the candidate of their preference, and whoever wins a lot of votes more than the others will be thereafter announced as the chairman-elect. Yeah, that's how we do this, and our mandate is for only 3 years.
Oh,
So
your term, you
yes.
are in office for 3 years.
Yes, we are in office for 3 years, and for us, our leadership, we are not cynical people like wanting to be in office for
For a long time.
for a very long time. So after the 3 years, we are very ready and determined to reorganize other independent and transparent elections. If there will be any candidate who kicks us out, we will...
so someone is allowed to recontest?
Yes, someone is allowed to recontest, but only once after your term. So your term is renewable only once.
Only once.
Yeah, after your second term, you have to go in peace, you become a senator, and other aspirants will come. Yeah.
So you talked about the General Assembly. It is there every year, in the middle of the year. How often do you have this General Assembly?
Yes, the General Assembly is there every end of the year, and there can be changes if necessary to call for an extraordinary General Assembly.
Okay.
Yes.
But if there are no any changes, it is there at the end of the year. You have had it already for this year, 2023?
Yes, we have had it this year.
Okay. Some questions are coming in. What are the benefits kids born here get that their parents don't?
The only benefit refugee children born here in Uganda can get is only accessing education easily, because when they are born here, they have Ugandan neighbors, they can learn Luganda easily, and they can access education easily.
Yeah, they can socialize.
They can socialize easily. And secondly, I think they can buy a land, like buying and not leasing.
And owning land.
Yes, they can own a land because they are Ugandans by birth. But for us who just came in, we cannot own, like buy by owning a land. No.
Yeah.
We can only lease a land.
It is understandable.
Yeah.
What is that one aspect that refugee Uganda-born children pride in that parents don't get? I think buying land.
Yeah, buying land, and secondly, having never experienced wars. Those atrocities that for us their parents have experienced back in the country of origin. These children have enjoyed the peace here in Uganda.
Yeah, they don't know those stories.
Tebalabangako ku mundu, tebalabangako ku bayekera, tebaddukangako mu lutalo nga we were jumping dead bodies. So, yeah, I think they're proud of that. Yeah, that's why you are also proud.
Is there family representation in the General Assembly? If yes, what is the percentage of both youths, women, and elderly? Is there family representation in the General Assembly? If yes, what is the percentage of both youths, women, and elderly?
For that question, I think no. There is no family representation in the General Assembly. Because when you engage something like a Congolese community, you are engaging the whole 450 tribes back in the country. So you cannot talk about families. We are talking about a representation of the whole community, like the whole country.
So you don't elect like represent like here we vote youth leaders, women leaders, for a leader for elderly. Those things don't.
Those ones are appointed. They are not elected.
You just appoint.
Yes, we appoint them because in leadership hierarchy, you cannot elect everyone. Yeah, very many people are appointed. The only person to be elected has to be one. Maybe there is a second person that we also elect is the representative of the Council of Elders. The Council of Elders, those people who bring in advices, suggestions, advice on community structures and implementations. That one is also elected, but all the rest, they are only nominated.
Okay. Do these children participate in elections as opposed to their parents, these in elections of the country, not those of the communities?
No.
Your parents are not allowed to, I mean the kids, your kids are not allowed to participate in elections?
No, unless if they have abjured or renounced or cancelled the refugee status and applied for the citizenship. If someone has rejected the refugee status and applied for citizenship, yes, they can be allowed to engage in those stuff. But if you are still a refugee identity holder, you cannot.
Even in schools, they don't stand for prefectship or...
Yeah, like in school, yes, they can. That is not political. That is not political. In schools, yes.
You people have questions, you people. But anyway, let me read it. It will be up to Mr. Wisdom to clarify. I think cats and some community dogs in Uganda are going to face extinction by 2025 because of the Congolese refugees who are hunting them badly. They have reached an extent of even butchering them in public without any fear of anyone. Which law in Uganda can help the community on these refugee acts of eating anything because the government didn't brief them on Ugandan cultures and behaviors? Is it true? Is it an allegation? No.
It is a very good question. I personally, I have heard rumors of that, but I do not have any irrefutable evidence, like a tangible evidence where I have experienced this by my own eyes.
Yes.
But I have always had rumors about that there are people who are butchering dogs, postcards. I think on the side of the government, it is not allowed to slaughter animals. It is not allowed to slaughter animals. And if anyone slaughters an animal, that is an offense, and they should face the wrath of the law. Yeah, it is.
But I think, what do you think is causing this?
I will think probably hunger, because people are starving, refugees are starving. Many of them do not have food. I remember recently we had some ladies at the community. KCCA grabbed their jewelries and took them. They remained jobless.
Yes.
And yet they have families of 7, families of 5, families of 8. So these ladies are even single mothers. They have remained jobless. They came at the community crying. Even the landlords are evicting them. So they do not have anywhere to go. They are lacking food, medication. So I think someone like that, if you give them anything, they will
just eat.
Yes, they will just eat for the sake of surviving. Yeah. I have seen some cases where ladies, KCCA grabbed their properties and they were evicted in the house. They are now living in churches. Others are living on the street. Yeah, the condition is really there.
Do you at times advise these people that are living in such conditions to try and they go back to the camps?
Yeah, and many of them are taking the advice, but some of them are also like, because we have people who faced persecution in the camps and fled from the camps coming in the urban. And then they get this, such a challenge. They will tell you that, no, I'm not going back in the camp. I rather die here in Kampala. Yeah.
So that means the situation is the camps are also...
Yeah, in the camps there are also lots of protection concerns, lots of insecurities, and
sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
We shall get a leader from the camps, the local communities, specifically the camps, to discuss challenges of people, refugees living in the camps. It wouldn't be fair for us to discuss challenges of those people when we have a leader from the urban setting. So for those challenges, we shall wait till we get a person who can ably articulate the problems of those people. You paid for these positions, like now you are the SG, Is there some allowance for you as the SG of the community?
No. Just like I had told you, that donors make mistakes. They do not allocate any funds to the communities. And that is why we are not paid. We are just volunteering for the community. Everything we do, we are volunteering.
So how are you able to run the works of the community, paying rent, water for offices and all that?
Yes, particularly on our side, we have a committee of at least 50 members. And these 50 members, some of them have their small jobs aside, apart from the volunteering at the community. So these committee members contribute among themselves to pay rent, to pay water, to pay electricity, and other facilities at the community. We pay even to print out recommendations to give to these most vulnerable refugees, recommend them somewhere for a service. That is how we are surviving as a community. Maybe in the future, maybe possibly, we will have donors who understand that it is very important and necessary to engage directly with the person
who is being affected.
Because there is nothing about us without us. You cannot decide on ourselves without involving us.
Yeah, exactly. As the SG of the community, what are your roles?
My roles as the Secretary General of the community, I oversee the entire administration of the community, the management. I oversee the administration. Like I receive reports from all the departments, and I review them, I compile them, and then submit to the chairman, who also goes through and submit to any potential partners who may be willing to go through these reports and activities of the community.
Okay, I'm going through the comment section, and it is interesting. We hear that some refugees are used as voting tools for the NRM government. Is it true?
That is absolutely wrong, because when you are a refugee, you are holding a refugee identification card. And when the NRM government people, the people power or the nationals, when they go for election, I think they have the national identity card.
Exactly.
And I guess maybe the voter's card or voting electoral coupon, something like that. So a refugee, when you do not have a national ID, you do not have a voter's card, you do not have the coupon or the slip to allow you to go and vote, that is a false allegation.
Okay, is there a council that unites all refugee communities in Uganda?
No, it is not there. I have recently been looking forward to start one. It is still under structure, and I think it will soon be there.
All right. I am personally a refugee living in Chaka 2 refugee camp. Yes, I remember last election, there was a group of people who came in our villages, in our refugee camp, registering all those younger babies with birth certificates. And I understood really that they will count, they will vote.
I think that one is raising something that he does not understand. There is no one who votes basing on the birth certificate. That is false. And he has contradicted. I don't know if it is a he or a she.
I think he's a he.
Yeah, he has contradicted himself by saying that people who came registering younger babies. The people who vote are only matures from 18 years and above. Young babies absolutely cannot participate in election. That is false.
Okay. Mokulu Cadet, I will come back for you. We hear about stories of someone being deported back to their country? Have you faced those instances among your community?
Yeah, sure. That is a very, very important question. I have been repeating the Refugee Act of 26, the regulation of 2010, in accordance with the Ugandan criminal code or the penal code. If a refugee breaks any of the land laws, he's likely to face the wrath of the law. And if he exaggerates, he's likely to suffer deportation. Yes, we have some community member, actually one, that I can, I have heard about one, and I have witnessed one being deported. They were trying to engage in things that do not concern them. You know, when you are a guest, when you are a guest in someone's house, you cannot permit yourself to start entering the room, to start seeing what is happening under the bed.
You can't just make unnecessary movements.
That is none of your business. So those brothers were trying to enter even the room, see what is happening in the bed.
Crossing boundaries.
Crossing boundaries, and yet they are guests. And that is how they were deported. Yeah. And I myself, I know I can be deported in case I cross my boundaries. In the refugee regulations, we have what we call limitations. First of all, refugees are apolitical. They cannot engage in politics. We cannot, there are other things that we have restriction of public comment on. There are things that do not concern us to comment on. So I know that if I divert or cross the boundaries, I can be deported. Yeah.
Okay. Congolese have been named as the gold fraudsters and cheating many people. How have they managed to curb the vice?
Rumors are always there, and you can never hinder or stop rumors. I have heard about gold fraudsters, and I have heard about accusations of some of them being Congolese. You know, the Congolese community is a community of humans, just like the Ugandan, the Kenyan, the Rwandan.
Yes.
So in every community, in every nationality, in every tribe, they are good and bad people.
Yes.
So you cannot limit those bad people, because they are people who wake up and they choose to be bad. There are someone who wakes up and choose to be a criminal, to be a weed smoker, to be a murderer, to be a rebel. And once they are possessed by that evil spirit of choosing the bad instead of the good, it is very hard to stop them.
Okay, Mr. Mukoverwa Cadet, I would like to ask the SG GoodLuck, how far with this current scenario of the cut of food assistance in terms of cash for some refugees? What should we expect for the next? Thanks.
I think I've not gotten properly the question.
I would like to ask the SG how far with this current scenario, of the cut of food assistance in terms of cash for some refugees. What should we expect?
Yeah, honestly, that is a very, very good question and very important. You know, honestly, we are expecting the worst.
The worst?
The worst. If these NGOs, the refugee-led, local and international, if they do not review the way of their implementation of services, we are expecting the worst in refugee community. I think it is a she or a he, she has talked about refugees in camps. There have been food assistance every month. And nowadays it has been cut. I have heard scenarios of camps where they have completely cut their cash assistance monthly as for food. And now you imagine these people in camps. They are not working. They are living in tents. They were given maybe a 10 foot small land where they are cultivating vegetables. Now the question to ask is, are these vegetables able to feed these people? There is a family of 10, a family of 15, a family of 20, 8, 5. You imagine, these vegetables they are cultivating, are they worthy to feed them for a whole month? No. When they are even sick in those health facilities, when they go there, they find there is no medicine. They only receive Panadol. But if you look back at those NGOs, they have a very beautiful salary, fancy cars, fancy offices, building fancy houses.
On the cost of refugees.
Yeah, it is very, very tricky.
What caused the cut of food? What was the reason behind it?
According to their claim, they are like, no, the fund is going down. Yeah, according to their claim, what I heard from some institutions. But even if the fund is going down, how have they managed the little that they are still getting? Does it mean that because the fund is attenuating, they should also cut absolutely? How about the reports they are making? Does the reports show that truly these refugees in camps are getting nothing? Does the reports show that some of the camps refugees are getting something very small, unworthy to sustain them for a whole period of a month? Yeah, the situation is very grappling. We pray hard for our brothers and sisters in the camps. And we also request the generous government of Uganda to review the policies. Also these institutions, I want to remind them, these NGOs, that they are humanitarian NGOs. Yes. So let them consider a lot the word humanitarian and not considering, let them not be selfish and cynical by targeting their own well-being. Let them pity also these refugees. Yeah.
Okay, now that takes me to my second last question of the show. We have discussed all the challenges that you're facing. Now we want to somehow find the solutions to some of these challenges. Like, let's start from the government side. How do you want the government to come in and help you as the refugees living in Uganda?
On the side of the government, when I talk about the government as the government, not an individual, the government has been generous for us refugees, and it has really, really been supportive because they are giving us identifications, and we as refugees, despite the challenges or the differences, we are benefiting the same security as nationals. But for some individuals or some officials
in the government,
most especially in police, they are making some differences. I think they are making it as individuals, not as the government. Which differences am I talking about? The denial of service. Someone has faced an issue of assault, sexual abuse, defilement, theft, burglary, and they are coming to report. But you as a police officer, because you don't like refugees, you chase them and you deny to work on them. Secondly, there have been refugees. Someone is conflicting with his fellow refugees. He wants to misuse police to arrest his fellow refugee. We have encountered these issues. The other one is the arbitrary arrest. I've talked about it. Yeah, I would really request the government to make sessions of informations. Inform all police officers and other government concerned officers. Let them be informed about who is a refugee, what is their rights, how should they be handled. Actually, I can even say this directly, refugees should be handled similarly as Ugandans because they are also human.
Yeah.
The only sector I encourage officials not to permit refugees to access is the political sector. The political sector is not ours, like voting, contesting, engaging in those political related activities, that is not ours. And if we attempt to interfere there, that will really be a criminal trespass and we should be prosecuted for that.
Well, I'm going back to my comment section. Mr. Mukobera said that, Cadet, whatever. I'm sorry for pronouncing your name if I'm pronouncing it wrongly. Recently, I heard about urban refugees are eating cats and dogs in Kampala, suggesting that in 2030 in Kampala, there will never be seen such animals. SG, what is your suggestion? I think he has answered that.
Yeah.
And he says, I am a man. I'm from Democratic Republic of Congo, but currently living in Uganda, Chakatu refugee camp. For the purposes of us knowing whether he's a man or a woman. Okay, we refugees are facing serious matters this side. I need your advocacy. Why the OPM doesn't provide new plastic sheets, yet the complaints are many about this case. Is there any way OPM can provide other plastic sheets for refugees? Now I've spent 5 years and I found those who spent 20 years still complaining about the lack of plastic sheets. OPM could help in any way. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Mukoberwa Cadet, I don't know if that is the name.
Yes.
Yeah, they are very important questions. I had answered about the butchery of pussycats and dogs in the urban here. It is not really allowed. And I personally, from my culture, we do not eat wild animals. So according to my culture, it is not allowed. And according to the land laws, it is not allowed to slaughter wild animals. And if anyone does it, sure, they should be facing the wrath of the law. Let them be punished because it is not good to do what is forbidden. For the plastic sheets with OPM, I think we have talked about all those. Yeah, it could really be necessary that the needs of these refugees are considered, and yeah, let us serve on the benefit and the interest of the people we serve. I mean the refugees. Yeah, we urge OPM, especially the Department of Refugees, to continue considering those complaints and requests from refugees in the settlement. Yeah, let them provide the plastic sheets if they are there, and if they are not there, let them retouch their budget, because I know they are serving basing on a budget. Let them retouch the budget or fundraise for that.
But he's also seeking for advocacy from you, since in your beginning you said you are advocates for yourself.
Yeah, actually I think that is what I'm making. Yeah, I'm urging the OPM, Department of Refugees, to retouch their budget in order to fit in the needs of our fellow refugees in Chakatu. And if the budget cannot be retouched, let them fundraise. It is a need in this particular community. Let them assess, and it is very good that they have received very many requests and complaints. Let them, based on the complaints and the requests, and make a proposal. Let them submit this proposal to their potential donors and get funds for this particular need. Thank you so much, Claudette. Cadet, yeah.
Thank you so much, Cadet, for tuning in from Chakatu refugee camp. I think as we close, is there anything you would wish that should be done to help you and your community to live peacefully here in Uganda that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, we have not talked about very many things, you know. We cannot talk about everything at once.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think this is not my last day here.
No, it cannot be.
When I come back, I think I will be coming in with something new. But the most important is to make a session of informing government officials, especially police officers, especially LC1 chairpersons. Let them be informed about refugees. Let them be informed, be trained on how to treat refugees. Let them be told that refugees are also human and they stand the same human rights as Ugandans. Yeah.
I want to thank you, Mr. Wisdom.
Thank
I
you so
hope I
much,
am not
Farida.
leaving any questions of anyone that I haven't read. I really want to thank you for all that. Mr. Cadet has another one. Unfortunately, the time is running, but I would need to share many things. I need suggestions from the SG GoodLuck. Thank you. I think you will need to find Mr. SG. Are you on social media?
Yeah, I am on social media. He can find me on Twitter. It is Wisdom Karungu GoodLuck. That is my Twitter account. On Facebook, I'm called GoodLuck Curious Citizen. Yeah, and on email, you can find me via email. It is wisdomkarungu@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Mr. Cadet, I think you will need to engage with Mr. Wisdom inbox, and then maybe you file in your complaints. Maybe he can help you in any way. He's a leader, and leaders always have solutions. That's what that's what we know. So if a leader doesn't have a solution to the people he leads, then he isn't worthy being a leader. I really want to thank you for making it here and sitting with me for this long, discussing challenges of the people of your community. I hope this show marks the beginning of a very long but fruitful journey that we'll be having with you and the community of the Congolese. I would request you to say your last remarks, but before you say, is there anything you enjoy doing in your free time? You are not dealing with issues of the Congolese community and you are not at work in your free time.
In my free time, I am a Christian believer. Sometimes I am at church, like on Sunday. I go and praise and worship God because it's not easy to keep myself in this foreign country.
Yeah, true.
And secondly, I have a family. I have a wife and children at home. I spend also a couple of time with my family at home. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you. Your last remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure being hosted here and being asked about the refugee community and all refugees at large. It's been really a pleasure because I think at least a voice of one refugee has been heard here. I was supposed to be here with our chairperson, Council Olivier Mapema Bakomezi, but there was an impulse which hinders his possibility to be here with us. But hopefully the next show he will be able to make it. Thank you so much, Miss Farida. It has really been a pleasure hosting me here. Yeah.
I really want to thank you all my viewers that have tuned in today for this show. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for even buying that and watching us live on Facebook. I want to really apologize to anyone if you have commented and I didn't read your comment. I am so sorry, but if I have read your comment and you have been satisfied, that is a credit for me. I really want to thank the people I've worked with. I have Monique on camera and Mr. Arnold Mukosa in the control room. I really want to wish you a very good day. See you when you see me tomorrow at 8 a.m.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.